Have you ever noticed how some people seem to instantly fold under the pressure of manipulation, while others stand tall, untouchable, and in control? The truth is, the moment someone realizes their games won't work on you, the balance of power shifts dramatically. You're no longer their target, you're their challenge. Now, picture this. The moment you start talking to a girl, whether you realize it or not, a subtle game begins. It's not malicious, it's instinctual. Women, like all humans, are wired to test, to see what you're made of. And yes, sometimes, to try and manipulate you. It's not because they're bad or evil, it's just part of human nature. But here's the catch. When you demonstrate that you're immune to those tests, when you flip the script and prove that you can't be played, something extraordinary happens. You become magnetic, intriguing, irresistible. How do you get there? It all comes down to one critical element: power. But not the kind of power tied to money, height, or flashy possessions. I'm talking about psychological power, a type of inner strength that radiates confidence, self-respect, and undeniable presence. This is what we call status. And trust me, once you master this, everything changes. If you've been following this series, How to Attract Women, you already know how vital status is when it comes to attraction. But today, we're diving deeper. I'll show you exactly how to cultivate this unshakable power and use it to turn the tables in any interaction. So, if you're ready to elevate your game, unlock the secrets to becoming truly irresistible, and take control of your destiny, stay tuned. And before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a friend who could use some power in their life. Let's build an army of confident, unstoppable men together. First, let's delve into a critical question. Why is it that so many men, especially those who want to impress women, lose their sense of power and allow themselves to be manipulated? The truth is simple, yet hard to swallow. You sacrifice your status in exchange for being liked. Think carefully about this. Why do so many men struggle with maintaining status and power in their relationships, particularly with women they deeply desire? Why do they find themselves compromising, giving in, and ultimately losing the respect they crave? The answer lies in one fundamental mistake that countless men repeat over and over: relinquishing their status to seek approval. This behavior plays out in subtle but impactful ways. It happens when you offer someone, especially a woman, more social power at your own expense, just to win her favor. This pattern isn't exclusive to romantic relationships. Men do in their friendships too, with both men and women, in an effort to gain acceptance and avoid conflict. Here's a real-life example to illustrate this dynamic. A few months ago, I went out with some friends, and there was a girl with us. When we got into one of the cars, one of the guys jokingly called shotgun the front passenger seat. Then the girl asked, "Oh, can I have that seat, please?" What happened next is telling. After a bit of playful banter, the guy gave up his seat and sat in the back, letting her take the front. Why did he do it? Because he thought letting her have the seat would make her like him more. Did he lose all his status in that moment? No, not entirely. But his thought process was clear. If I say no, she might not like me. This is where the problem begins. When you're afraid to set boundaries because you fear being disliked, you're effectively giving away your power. Sometimes, this behavior isn't as obvious. It could be as simple as agreeing with an opinion you don't truly hold or downplaying your preferences just to make someone else feel comfortable. These compromises may seem harmless, but they chip away at your status over time. Society often reinforces this mindset. From movies to fairy tales, you've been conditioned to believe that the ideal man makes sacrifices for the girl he loves, putting her needs above his own. But in real life, this approach doesn't work the way you think it will. Take a moment to reflect. Why do women often gravitate toward the so-called bad boys? It's not because these men treat them poorly. It's because they refuse to compromise their value or status just to be liked. These men prioritize themselves, and women are drawn to that self-assured energy. So now that you understand why you lose your power in these situations, let's talk about how you can change this dynamic in your favor. Here's a common scenario. A woman at a bar asks, Are you going to buy me a drink? Most men handle this in one of two ways, and both approaches are flawed. The first type immediately agrees and buys the drink, thinking it will win her favor. This is a classic example of giving up status to seek approval. The second type tries to counter by saying something like, "I don't buy drinks for girls." While this may seem like standing your ground, it often comes across as defensive or try-hard, which can lower your perceived value. So, what's the right way to respond? If a woman asks me, "Are you going to buy me a drink?" my response is simple yet effective. "Sure. I'd be happy to. Let's grab a spot where we can sit and chat, and I'll go get the drinks." Here's why this works. By suggesting she put in a bit of effort, like finding a comfortable place to sit and talk, you're signaling that you value mutual investment. You're not rejecting her, nor are you falling over yourself to gain her approval. You're setting a tone of balanced effort and respect. A high-status man assumes he's already of interest to the woman. He doesn't feel the need to prove himself or buy her attention. But he's also not opposed to acts of generosity, as long as there's a sense of reciprocity. This is where confidence and status come into play. Contrast this with a low-status man. He's so focused on winning her approval that he doesn't even consider asking for anything in return. He gives without expecting effort, which inadvertently lowers his value in her eyes. The truth is, women are constantly picking up on cues, especially when they first meet someone. They notice how you interact with others, how others respond to you, and most importantly, how you carry yourself when interacting with them. By maintaining your boundaries, valuing yourself, and asking for balanced effort in your interactions, you'll naturally project the kind of confidence that draws people in, especially the women you desire. The first step in maintaining control and confidence in your interactions with women is this: never let a woman command you. Understand that it's inevitable. Any woman you talk to will, at some point, try to give you orders or assert her preferences. She might suggest taking a certain route, ask you to pay for something, or even tell you to buy her a drink. This isn't unique to one person or situation. It's simply part of human nature. Women enjoy testing boundaries and seeing how much influence they have over a man. But here's the key. If you agree to everything she asks without hesitation or consideration, you'll soon find yourself being controlled, with her taking the lead in your dynamic. To prevent this, never agree to a woman's request immediately. Take a moment to consider whether it aligns with your own desires. And if you do decide to fulfill her request, make sure you subtly regain control by asking her for something in return first. Let me give you a couple of examples. If she says, "Buy me a drink," respond with, "I will if we sit together and chat for a bit." If she says, "Let's take this route instead, it's better," respond with, "Sure, but only if you do something fun for me first, like meowing like a cat." This approach ensures that even when you agree with her request, you remain in control of the interaction. You're not just passively following her lead. You're demonstrating that you have boundaries and expectations. 2. Now, this doesn't mean you should always demand something in return for every little request. This strategy is specifically for situations where you feel compelled to agree, but you want to maintain an equal footing. The key is to establish a balance of effort and control. At the same time, you need to develop the ability to say no if her request doesn't align with what you genuinely want to do. Just refuse. For instance, if she hands you a book and says, "Read this," but you're not interested in reading, simply say, "No thanks, that's not really my thing." Now that we've covered this first technique, let's dive into the second. Pay close attention. This is one of the most common strategies women use to manipulate emotions, and it works on most men without them even realizing it. Here's how it happens. You're talking to a girl, and things are going great. She's responsive. The conversation flows effortlessly, and you feel like you're connecting. But then, out of nowhere, she stops replying. She pulls back, and the dynamic changes completely. Sound familiar? This is a classic tactic, and it's designed to test you. When this happens, many men panic. They start overthinking, questioning themselves, and, worst of all, chasing after her. They send her multiple messages, try harder to regain her attention, and end up falling into her trap. Why does she do this? Because it's a test. She wants to see how you'll react, whether you'll lose your composure and become desperate, or whether you'll stay grounded and confident. Here's what you need to do. Resist the urge to chase her. When she pulls back, don't send another message. Don't call her. Don't try to get her attention. Instead, take a step back, remain calm, and let her come to you on her own terms. Here's the golden rule to live by. Never listen to the voice of fear. Always listen to the voice of confidence. When a girl suddenly stops talking to you, fear will tell you to act. Fear will say, "What if she's not interested anymore? What if I messed up?" But if you give in to that fear, you'll lose her because you'll come across as insecure and needy. Confidence, on the other hand, tells you, "She was into me, and she'll come back when she's ready. I don't need to chase her because I know my value." This confidence is magnetic. When you refuse to chase, you send a powerful message. You're not desperate, and you're not afraid of losing her. This shifts the dynamic in your favor and makes her more likely to come back to you. Finally, let's talk about a secret most men don't understand about women. Women are emotional beings first and logical beings second. When you're interacting with a woman, you're not just dealing with her words or actions, you're dealing with her emotions. She's assessing how you make her feel in every moment. Are you confident? Are you steady? Are you showing that you can handle her ups and downs without losing control? Understanding this will help you navigate these situations with ease. Women are naturally drawn to men who exude emotional stability, confidence, and a sense of control, not through domination, but through calm, grounded energy. Remember these two techniques. Refuse commands unless they align with your own desires, and never chase when she pulls back. Combined, these strategies will help you build stronger, more balanced connections and ensure that you remain in control of your interactions. Women often don't know exactly what they want or how they should act. This isn't a flaw, it's a fundamental difference in how emotions, instincts, and societal conditioning shape their decision-making. You're not speaking to their rational mind when you interact with them. So taking their words at face value can lead you into a trap of misinterpretation and, ultimately, manipulation. So how do you navigate this? How do you decipher her hidden messages? Those subtle differences between what she says and what she truly means. Here's a reality that most men fail to grasp. Women don't always mean what they say, and they don't always say what they mean. Asterisk, asterisk, this isn't deceitful. It's just the way emotions and communication intertwine in their world. For example, if a woman tells you she doesn't like you, it doesn't necessarily mean she dislikes you. There's often a subtext, a hidden layer of emotion or context that her words don't fully convey. And your job is to interpret that subtext by focusing on her actions, not her words. Here's the simple truth. Actions always speak louder than words. If you want to truly understand a woman, don't get tangled up in the literal meaning of what she says. Instead, observe her behavior. Her actions will consistently reveal her true desires, needs, and feelings. Let me break this down with some examples. If she says she prefers taller guys but consistently dates shorter men, her actions reveal that height isn't really a deal breaker for her. If she insists she doesn't do one-night stands but has a history of engaging in them, her actions suggest she's open to them, even if she's hesitant to admit it out loud. If she says she doesn't like you but continues to text you, call you, or spend time with you, it's a clear indication that she's interested, despite her words suggesting otherwise. Here's the bottom line. If her words and actions don't align, always trust her actions. Words can be influenced by societal pressure, momentary emotions, or even her own uncertainty. But actions? Actions reveal what's real. Now, let's address a common reaction to this idea. If you bring up these points to women, some might say, "That's not true. I know what I want." Or they may even criticize this perspective as unfair or overly simplified. This reaction is common because there's often a disconnect between how women perceive themselves and how they actually behave in relationships. And that's okay. It's human nature. But here's the undeniable proof. If you look at the comments from men who've applied this advice, you'll find that many of them have improved their relationships or started dating the women they were interested in. Contrast that with women's comments. which often deny these claims. This contradiction is a recurring theme in relationships. Why? Because what women think they want and what they actually respond to emotionally are often two different things. Let's unpack this further. Many women will tell you they don't like bad boys or players. Yet time and time again, it's those very men who seem to have the most success in dating. Why does this happen? Because women aren't always consciously aware of what attracts them. Look at any girl you know, and you'll likely see this pattern. She's been conditioned by fairy tales, romantic comedies, and societal norms to believe in an idealized version of Prince Charming. When asked what kind of man she wants, she might say, "He should be kind, funny, stable, and respectful." But in reality, those qualities alone don't ignite deep attraction. That's why you'll often see women with men who don't fit the description they claim to want. Men who challenge them, excite them, and stir emotions they didn't even know they craved. Here's the truth. A woman doesn't fully know what she wants in a man until she meets someone who disrupts her expectations and leaves a lasting emotional impact. In many cases, she'll change her habits, preferences, and even beliefs when she meets that man. This is why taking advice from women about what women want often backfires. It's not that they're lying. It's that they're unaware of the deeper emotional drivers that dictate their actions. If you want to understand what women truly respond to, observe their behavior in real-world situations. Pay attention to what they do, not what they say they want. In closing, remember this: words can mislead, but actions never lie. Asterisk, asterisk, by focusing on a woman's behavior, you'll gain clarity and avoid the confusion that comes from overanalyzing her words. This approach will empower you to navigate relationships with confidence and authenticity. To wrap things up, let's make this crystal clear. Never let her words distract you from her actions. The truth lies in what she does, not what she says. Many men fall into the trap of fixating on her words, only to find themselves lost in confusion. Why? Because, let's face it, her words rarely match her actions. Take, for instance, the heartbreaking scenario of a woman who goes out, sleeps with other men, and then returns home to tell her husband she loves him more than anything. Words are one thing, but actions are the real truth tellers. So, don't let yourself be deceived. Pay close attention to her actions. This is where you'll discover what's really going on in her mind. Trust the signs, not the sweet talk. And if you found this insight valuable, make sure to hit that subscribe button and show your support. Stay tuned for more tips and deep dives into the world of relationships, because there's so much more to uncover.